Hey everybody, welcome back to Off the Clock this week. We are here with Kate Hennessey from the women's lacrosse team.
Hi everyone, I'm Kate Hennessey. I'm a senior defender and captain on the women's lacrosse team, and I'm from Rochester, New York.
What is something you've outgrown since arriving at St Bonaventure?
Honestly, I would just say not overthinking the little things. I think coming into it in a freshman year, kind of adjusting to a whole new life and being away from your family and being in a new place and making new friends. And I think sometimes I'd let the little things kind of get to me more, but as a student athlete, you can't really do that.
No.
You deal with so much. So I think honestly that comes with confidence and just kind of letting the little things brush off and knowing that, keeping a level head and knowing there's some things to worry about and other things to let go.
Mm-hmm. That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yes.
Is this something you tell the freshman girls?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Let it go.
Yes, you have to.
What does your mindset look like going into a game?
I would say honestly, I try to keep the same mindset going into a game. I try to more so focus on our team rather than the team that we're playing. I think that we talk about it a lot, but just playing our game. And I think that, that helps us in the long run. You don't really want to think about your opponent as much as you want to think about ourselves. And we have scout and we'll go over stuff, but I think, when we play our game, we always kind of have that underdog mentality going into games. And I think that that has done us well. So honestly, just focusing on our team and what we can do going into a game.
What version of yourself shows up in high pressure moments?
Honestly, I do pride myself a lot in staying calm in high pressure situations. And I think especially now as a captain and as a leader on this team, then the younger players look up to us a lot, the three of us, and kind of feed off of our energy. And so I think if we're in a game and maybe something's not going our way and we're kind of in a little bit of a rut and they're looking at me and they see me stressed and thinking that we can't get out of it, in my mind, like, what does that show them? So I think honestly, just even if you have to fake it till you make it, but
Yeah.
I would say for the most part, I do stay calm in high pressure situations.
I feel like definitely the younger girls always feed off of the captains.
100%.
Or even if they're seniors, the grad students,
Yeah.
like they always feed off
Yeah.
of people who are older than them. They're like, well, if they think we're screwed, we definitely are.
Yes,
Like,
exactly. So don't want that. So yeah.
What part of yourself has become tougher because of lacrosse?
Honestly, I just think like my mindset and also learning how to show it for myself. I have such a supportive family and teammates and coaches, and that means a lot. But I think as a leader, there's sometimes that you have to put others' needs before your own, and that's not something I take lightly. And I think at the end of the day, I'm in this role for a reason, and I know that. And so, I would do it in a heartbeat, showing up for my teammates before myself. And I just want to be there to help them. I think on the field, off the field, I just really pride myself in being someone that they know they can go to because, when I was a younger player, like I had that too. And I think ever since becoming an upperclassman, even after freshman year, I just wanted to be somebody that people could go to both on and off the field. And so I hope my teammates feel that too.
How would you describe confidence on versus off the field?
Yeah, honestly, I think it correlates a lot on and off the field. And I think a lot of it stems from my teammates. We spend so much time together both on and off the field. And I think that our chemistry off the field only helps us to be more successful on the field. Like, we're just a bunch of goofballs. Like, we literally, I'm sure you've heard from the other two, but we just love to have fun. Like, that is something when I think about our team, like, we just want to have fun and we want to make it a good time. And obviously, yes, we're here to play a sport, but at the end of the day, we throw a rubber ball around with a stick. Like, it could never be that serious. And so I think just enjoying it, and especially now as a senior and being in my last season, I just really want to cherish it because I know that, the days are counting down, which it's bittersweet, but I just want to remember all the fun memories and just enjoying it.
I think that's a reoccurring factor across the three of you is stop taking it for granted.
Yeah.
Because now that you're seniors, you're seeing like, oh my.
Oh yeah.
This is our
quick.
last go around.
Yeah. I feel like it has gone by in a blink of an eye, and I think that's something that we also...
Which you never realize in the moment.
No, you don't.
You're like, oh, I'm a freshman. Yay, we start this over again.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's also something that we've tried to vocalize with the younger players on our team. We're like, we get it that you don't fully understand this until you're in these shoes, but I feel like it's gone by in the blink of an eye, and just to enjoy it. And I think we try to enjoy it, and we also just want our teammates to do the same because we know that soon enough, even the freshmen now are going to be seniors because that's what happened to us.
When do you feel the most understood as a leader?
Yeah, I think that the three of us will never sit here and say it's been, an easy job. I think it's been super rewarding, but as a captain, you're kind of that bridge between your coaches and your team. You're trying to uphold your coaches' standards and also with the team deal with them, but they're also some of your best friends. And I think that can be difficult when you have to have the hard situations and the difficult conversations because you're tiptoeing that line. And it can be hard sometimes to be like, separate being a teammate and being a friend. But I think, if anything, it's taught me a lot about myself. I think it's taught us a lot about each other, and we're closer because of it. And honestly, at the end of the day, we have a job to do, and I think we all know that. And we also know that our teammates saw us in this light to give us this role. And so I think they also just understand us when they know none of it is from a bad intent. Like, we just do it because we want our team to be successful. So even in those difficult times and the hard decisions that we have to make, then I think they know that it's coming from a good place, and we want nothing but to see this team succeed.
And at this point in your career, you kind of know better, you know from experience, and you don't want them to follow in your footsteps and make the same mistakes you did.
Yeah, exactly. It's never from a bad place. Just want to help them.
Help them before it's too late.
Yeah.
Gotta love the freshmen. Gotta love them. We were all there. Do you think you're harder on yourself or your teammates?
Definitely harder on myself. I think, I grew up a 3-sport athlete. I played soccer, basketball, and lacrosse my whole life, all the way through senior year of high school. And so I've always been super competitive. And, honestly, just harder on myself. I just want to show up for those around me. Like, I don't want to let anyone down. And I think that can be hard sometimes, and just having that mindset. But at the end of the day, again, I have such a supportive family and teammates and coaches, and they kind of help me get through that. But honestly, just hard on myself because I want to show up for my teammates around me and be the best version of myself I can be for them.
What does rest look like for you mentally, not just physically?
I think just spending time with teammates off the field. You'd think that we're sick of each other with all the time we spend together between travel and games and practice and everything. But even on our off days, then you'll find us all going to get food or hanging out at somebody's house and stuff like that. But I think that our chemistry off the field only helps us on the field just to be more successful. So
the bonds.
Yeah, exactly.
Who are you as a person outside of lacrosse?
I think I just pride myself in the relationships I have with those around me. Huge role models for me are my parents, and they've set a huge example for my brother and I with how to treat people and how to show up for those around you all the time. And honestly, I just think that I take that a lot into how I am. And, I know that friendships are so special, especially here in college. These are, especially Britt, Piper, all the people on my team, like, these are people that will stand beside me at my wedding one day, who will be with me for the rest of my life. And that's something that I'm just so grateful for. But I think, honestly, just showing up for those around me, because I know that they would do the same for me.
Is there a compliment that has stuck with you more than any stat ever could?
Yeah. One of our assistant coaches, Coach Parker, then I was kind of having a conversation with her earlier this fall, and we were just talking about the future and obviously graduation. And I think sometimes you think, oh, I'm going to have an identity crisis when we leave here, just because sports have been a part of my life my entire life. And I kind of just voiced to her, I was like, I don't really know who I am besides being a lacrosse player. And she kind of talked to me about my gifts. She just said, you're so much more than an athlete, and you are so approachable, and people come to you because they're comfortable with you, and you just have such a big heart. And she kind of just voiced to me that I'm so much more than just being how many ground balls I get and how many cost turnovers I have. And honestly, that really stuck with me, because I think it can be hard, especially as a Division I athlete. You pride yourself a lot in how you do on the field. And so having that conversation, knowing that, I have so much more to offer, and people go to me for so much more than just what I do on the field, then that kind of has stuck with me since.
What is something about your journey that you've never said out loud?
I would say, honestly, it was really hard for me to come back sophomore year. I think that freshman year is such an adjustment. And again, I think I touched on it earlier, but being away from family and making new friends and adjusting to being a Division I athlete where you don't really have a ton of free time. And, freshman year came with its challenges, both on and off the field. For myself, I think I dealt with a lot of confidence issues on the field. I think there's that anxiety that comes with freshman year. And I think coming back sophomore year is honestly hard for me. And I tried not to voice it too much because I still was coming back and I wanted to make the most of it. And I knew that, tough times don't always last, but it was hard. I remember just being back in those first few weeks, it was difficult. And I also got hurt like at the end of our first week. So then I'm in a sling, and I was like, just really questioning why I was still here. But I think that situation in particular has really stuck with me, and I'm proud of it, because as athletes, then you're going to have hard situations, but, cherishing the good ones, but also embracing the hard ones, because those ultimately have shaped me into who I am. So I'm glad I stuck it out. I couldn't imagine being anywhere else these past 4 years. So, yeah.
You never gave up.
No, never gave up. I'm very glad I didn't.
What is one belief you had as a freshman that has changed compared to now?
Yeah, I think that as a freshman, the season before we got here, then the team had won 1 game. And we went to our first meeting, our first week there, and Coach Lee looked at all of us and said, "You're making the A10 tournament this year." And
Those are scary words.
Yeah, those are scary words. And I think for returners, that had a different meaning. But as freshmen, we kind of only had the outside perspective. We hadn't really been a part of the team yet. So we kind of looked at her and we're like, oh, okay. But, we went on that year. We won our first A10 game since I think it was 2017. We made the A10 tournament. And so I think ever since then, just having so much belief in this team, I wholeheartedly believe we can be a competitor for an A10 championship this year. And, that takes all of us. It's not 1 or 2 people that will win it. It's everyone. And I think we strive a lot on this team that whether you're on or off the field, you have a huge role on this team. On the field, we feed off the bench's energy. They feed off of us. And I think just showing up for each other and knowing that if we all believe, then we can do it, then I feel like that's kind of been the difference maker.
That's a scary moment. Like you said, that means more to the returning girls than it means for you as a little baby freshman walking into this room and you're like, you're doing it. You're like, I'm doing what?
Yes, exactly.
We won 1 game last year and I wasn't even a part of that.
Yeah.
What would surprise someone the most about your daily life?
Maybe just that I just love being around people. Like, even in our little bit of free time that we have, like, I won't go home during the day. I'll be in the RC. Like, all of our team, we're always in our coach's office, hanging out with them, hanging out with each other. But honestly, again, it just goes back to that chemistry that we have with each other off the field, and that only translates on. But I think especially now in my last semester, then just cherishing my time that I have with my teammates. I think when I do step off the field for the last time, it'll be, hard not playing lacrosse anymore, but it'll be all my teammates that make this goodbye so hard. So honestly, just saying yes to everything and spending time with each other.
So my final question for you is, when the chapter ends and the jersey comes off for the last time this season, what do you want to feel in that moment?
I would just say I want to feel like we left this place better than we found it. And I think for our senior class, that has been something that we've talked about our entire time here. And, when I walk off that field, I know it'll be with a heavy heart, but also one so full, and nothing but love and gratitude for this program. This journey has shaped me into who I am, and it's honestly been greater for myself than I could have ever imagined. And so, I'm just grateful for the journey. I couldn't imagine myself anywhere else these past 4 years, and I just hope the younger players will feel that even when we're not here.
Hope they take your advice and run with it.
Me too, yes.
Well, Kate, thank you for joining us for Off the Clock today. And new episodes drop every Friday. And have a good night, guys.